Hi guys, and welcome to this comparative analysis of RPA tools by Intellipaat. Today, we'll be comparing and contrasting the top RPA tools which are Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism and UiPath. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. So let's talk about today's agenda. Today we start off by answering what is RPA with the help of an example. Then we move on to see the various features which are common across various RPA tools. Then we compare and contrast these tools based on parameters like prerequisites to learn, macro recorders, and availability of community editions. After that, based on these comparisons, we try to conclude which RPA tool is probably the best for you. Then we'll have a quiz session to test your understanding of today's session. Also guys, Intellipaat does provide certification training for various RPA tools. So if you are interested to get certified, please check out the course details given in the description below. Now without wasting any further time, let's get into the session. So let's begin. So what is RPA? We'll try to understand RPA with the help of an example. What we'll do is we'll take an example of a process, see how we do it manually, and then what difference does RPA bring to the table. So the example we are taking here is a data processing case study. So the data is coming from the documents, it is being manually processed, and then we have a processed data. So what is this? How is this happening? So what basically is happening is, let's assume that we are a restaurant. Now we get invoices every day, which is brought about to a manual processor who looks at the data and extracts the relevant data, that is the customer ID, cost, date, etc. And then he puts it to an Excel sheet. Now we started growing. So what happened is we were getting a lot of invoices. Now it was very tedious and difficult to process all of this manually. So we decided to switch to RPA. Now what happens in the case of RPA is data is automated by robots and the data is processed. Now how does this happen? The idea is very simple. What you do is basically design a program with the help of an RPA tool using some logic, some sequence. And what you have to do basically is just click the button once you have designed the program. The RPA tools initialize a bot which will go through your data, look at the relevant data, extract it and paste it to the Excel file. It is that simple. So let's look at the definition of RPA. So RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. Let's look at this term word by word and try to understand what it is. So robotic stands for anything that mimics human actions. Process is a set of sequential actions which lead to a desired result. And automation is anything which is done without human intervention. So in a nutshell, RPA is a technology that automates repetitive tasks by mimicking human actions. In our cases of invoices, what we were doing is we trained our program to basically go to the invoice repository and extract the data from there and just paste it to the Excel file. This was a manual process which we were doing. We trained a robot to do it. So basically that's mimicking human actions. Now doing all of this was a set of sequential actions. So that is the process. And all you had to do was click the run button. So you were not involved anywhere. So that gives you the automation because there was no human intervention. Now, let's look at the common features among the various RPA tools that we have. First of all, most of these RPA tools are built on the .NET framework provided by Microsoft. Then most of these tools follow a client-server architecture. Many prominent tools provide certifications. Now the advantage of having a certification is the fact that basically the company that provides you the tool is certifying you, is stating that you have certain kind of expertise on these tools. So what happens is when you go for a job or anything, the company hiring you knows that you have worked with it and you know your way around the tool. So you will basically be able to do the tasks that they want you to do. And finally, Citrix automation is offered by many tools. Now Citrix automation allows you to do automation on a remote server. This is a very good advantage to have when you are trying to automate things. So as I mentioned before, RPA is a technology. There are various tools that help you achieve this technology. Now let's look at this graph by Gartner to see the different tools and where they stand in terms of the market. As you can see clearly, there are a lot of tools here. And the ones in the dark blue shade are the market leaders right now. So the market leaders, as we can see here, is UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. So, which brings us to the top 3 tools of RPA, which is UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere. Now we'll look at these tools one by one, gain some info on all of these tools, and then we'll move on to comparing these tools. So let's start with Automation Anywhere. Now Automation Anywhere was originally founded by Thetis Solutions in San Jose. The company rebranded itself as Automation Anywhere Incorporated in 2010. Automation Anywhere is a tool which can automate end-to-end business operations for many companies, and it is generally suited for medium to large enterprises. It is a web-based management system which uses a control room to run the automated tasks. which basically means is you design it at one place and use the control room to run your automated tasks. So now let's look at the next tool on our hand, which is UiPath. So UiPath was originally founded in 2005 by Romanian entrepreneurs Daniel Dines and Marius Trsa. This is a very flexible tool which uses your existing infrastructure and processes to automate your tasks. The most interesting thing about UiPath is its visual designer. It is basically somewhere where you design your processes, and it has this intuitive drag and drop feature which helps you easily design the processes as well as debug it. So the next tool is Blue Prism. Now Blue Prism was founded in 2001 with a motivation to develop a technology that could be used to improve the efficiency as well as effectiveness of organizations. It is built on Microsoft .NET framework, as we discussed that many RPA tools have this feature that they are built on the .NET framework. Blue Prism has many robust features like load balancing, encryption, audit, and many others. There are a lot of features, and this is a very reliable tool which works very well. So let's now compare UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism on various parameters. Now first let's look at the different parameters on our hand. So the parameters are whether or not it has a community version, whether or not it has an evaluation version. Third is the types of robots that it gives you to work with. Fourth is if it has a macro recorder or not. Fifth is accessibility. Sixth is a process designer. Seventh is the pricing. And eighth is prerequisites. And finally, we check them on the differences of their market trends right now. So let's begin. Community version. So community version is basically a free version which is available to the community out there for the individuals to learn and work with so that they understand the tool better. Now, Automation Anywhere does provide you with a community version, and so does UiPath. But Blue Prism does not provide you with any community version, so you need to pay from the get-go if you want to learn Blue Prism. Now let's talk about the evaluation version. So basically, evaluation version is kind of like an enterprise edition, a trial version to the enterprise edition, where you can see the different features that the enterprise edition has. So Automation Anywhere does give you a 45-day trial of their enterprise edition, whereas UiPath gives you a 30-day trial. But as we mentioned before, Blue Prism, you have to pay from the get-go. There is no trial version whatsoever. Even if you want to learn the tool, you need to pay to learn. Now let's compare them on the different types of robots that they offer. So Automation Anywhere as well as UiPath both offers you front-end as well as back office robots which will help you automate both sides of the tasks. That is the front office tasks and the back office tasks. Whereas Blue Prism only offers back office automation. The next criteria is the macro recorders. Now macro recorders is basically a recorder which a tool provides you where it records you doing the actions and then it makes a logic out of itself. You don't have to make set of sequential actions. The tool will do it for you based on the way you work on your system. So it records your movements and then makes a logic out of it. So let's see which tools gives you this opportunity to use the macro recorders and make your life easy. So Automation Anywhere offers you a recorder which is very well working, and so does UiPath. Both of these tools provide you with a macro recorder which will record your actions and create a logic out of it, so you don't have to work very hard when it comes to making the logic. Whereas Blue Prism does not offer any kind of macro recorder, so you need to build your own logic. Next is the accessibility. Now what accessibility basically refers is from where you can run your tasks. So Automation Anywhere is application based. You need to run it from your applications. With UiPath, you can use your mobile as well as your web browsers to access your orchestrator, which is basically a central platform from where you can run your automated tasks. You can also schedule and deploy robots from there. Blue Prism again is an application-based platform. So if you want to run your automations, you need to be next to your applications. Now let's talk about the process designer. So a process designer is basically a kind of like a studio or a canvas where you design your tasks that you want to run. I was telling you, right, that we need to have a set of sequential actions. This is where you design your set of sequential actions. So Automation Anywhere gives you a script-based designer, which is basically, it will have line by line showing you what the actions are and how the commands are going. Whereas UiPath and Blue Prism both provide you with a visual process designer. Now, visual process designer has its own advantages because it shows you where the control is flowing from where to where, which tasks come next. The basic advantage of using this is that your designing process is completely changed. What happens is you are now working faster because you can see what is happening, and the debugging processes is extremely easy when it comes to visual designer because you can directly see from the above where you might be going wrong. Whereas in script, you have to go line by line to check like where did you go wrong. So the process designer wise, I'd say UiPath and Blue Prism have the advantage. Now pricing. Now we look at the different pricing models after you have got licensing. So with Automation Anywhere, it's per bot. With UiPath, it's per application, and with BluePrism, again, it's per bot. Now, prerequisites. Now, when we speak about prerequisites, we basically mean is the knowledge that you already need to have before you start learning the tool. So you need to have some knowledge before working with something. So if you require so which tool requires what kind of knowledge before you start working with it? So let's start with Automation Anywhere. So the Automation Anywhere requires beginner level programming skills. Now, all you need to know is basic programming fundamentals and you are good to go with Automation Anywhere. Whereas with UiPath, all you need is a basic visual skills. As I told you, it has a visual designer which lets you see where the control is flowing from where. So a little to no programming language skills or programming knowledge is good enough for UiPath. You don't need any kind of prerequisites. It's very easy to use. All you have to do is drag and drop, and the visual designer makes it very easy to use UiPath. Talking about BluePrism, you need moderate to medium level of programming skills, as it requires you to know basic programming concepts like typecasting and stuff like that. So when it comes to the ease of a user moving from a non-programming background, UiPath is the easiest, followed by Automation Anywhere and then BluePrism, because of the coding knowledge that you need to have or the programming knowledge that you need to have. Now let's talk about the market trends. What I mean by market trends is which tools are having more searches, what people are searching now, what people are working with right now, where are more jobs, and other things related to the market. So the market trend right now, as you can see from the graph, is clear. So the Automation Anywhere is the blue line, UiPath is the red line, and BluePrism is the yellow line. So as you can see, the yellow line is above all of the rest. This is because most of the companies prefer to have BluePrism because of its extreme level of scalability that it gives. It gives you a very good level of scalability, and it's a very trustworthy tool when it comes to performing on a large scale. Whereas Automation Anywhere and UiPath are just reaching it there. But if you are a smaller side organization, I would you'd want to work with UiPath or Automation Anywhere because it is less costlier and you have a trial version to work with to understand. So if you're an individual, you prefer UiPath. If you're a small organization, you prefer Automation Anywhere. If you move on and you are a big enterprise, then BluePrism is the way to go in my opinion. So what do we conclude from this? So as we mentioned before, we'll be trying to figure out which tool is the best for you. So if you are an individual and you are just trying to learn about RPA, then I'd say UiPath is the way to go. It's very easy to learn. If you do not have any coding background, go for UiPath. It's extremely easy to learn. And it has a lot of applications, a lot of good features. It's good to go. If you are a medium to a big organization or an enterprise, then I would recommend you to use Automation Anywhere because it has a lot of functionality and good scalability as compared to UiPath, in my opinion. And basically, it's better for medium to large scale organizations because of the features it has. And if you are a large organization, then definitely go for BluePrism because it has good scalable features which work very well, and it's a very trustworthy tool. And the reason behind these also contain the fact of the pricing. So UiPath is extremely free. If you are an individual, you can work with it as much as you want. And so you can work with Automation Anywhere as well with the presence of Community Edition. But if you are not an individual, you are a large scale organization and you can pay, then go for BluePrism. It's a very good tool. In conclusion, just it depends on your personal preference, what you want. All of these tools are absolutely amazing. All of these tools are market leaders. Everybody in the world is using right now. So you can go with any of these and you'll be good to go. Just it depends on the personal preference on things or the features that you want, which edges one tool over the other. Overall, all the tools are extremely good. So now it's time for the quiz. So the question is pretty simple. For which of these tasks is RPA best suited for? Is it A, writing code, B, designing, C, data entry, or D, none of these? Think about it and mention your answers in the comment section below. So this brings us to the end of this session. If you have any queries, please do comment below and we'll reach out to you immediately. Also guys, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. Thank you.